Darren Blanton in the middle. Again, Darren's his horses have, we're part of the reason we're doing this here at the NCHA office is his horses he has owned over the years have won over $1 million in this sport, and he's a big participant in the non-professional ranks. His entire family's involved. His daughter competes now as well. He's just again does a lot to help promote our sport, and been a good advocate for what these great horses do. So that's Darren's. Darren actually he'll tell you more about it, but he owns an investment company in Dallas. So they actually have a lot of expertise in a lot of different areas. So hopefully horses and stallion management is going to be one of those now going forward. Jack Wagner needs no introduction. He's absolutely, this is his life's work that we're here to talk about today. He spent, gosh, the better part of his life really, creating this whole dynasty. From Highbrow Cat, from when he was a, just a weanling horse, to the legend that he is today. Jack, he won't brag on himself, but he is the all-time leading owner in our entire sport. So again, most of us in here are pretty familiar with the the heritage of cutting, the legacy, the people involved, and that. There's been some, just great people, great programs, great horses, and to actually be here in the same room with the guy who is the leading breeder of all time, that's pretty historic. And I'm pretty honored to be here with him, and glad that he had confidence enough in Darren and in the rest of us to help take this legacy over. Darren, to maybe take over and say a few words about what the heck he's thinking.
Sit down. Thanks, Chad, and thank everybody for coming today. We're really excited. When I got into the cutting horse business, I really didn't know anything about what I was doing, and I had a few trainers along the way that were helpful, but I basically met Jason, and Jason kind of was good about starting with telling me the basics about how to saddle a horse, how to ride a horse, teaching me basic horsemanship. And he was pretty hard on me at first, and I needed it because I don't really learn unless someone beats it into me. But he really taught me how to think about horsemanship first, and about how to pick good horses and how to look at their conformation. And we were very successful together, and we became really good friends. It was like we were brothers. So I'm so excited that he shared this deal with me. He works for McDavid. I have a lot of respect for David McDavid, and at the time I just don't think it was something that David was interested in, because he wanted to show him that first. And so we made sure that there was no bad feelings or heartaches. But I knew immediately when he introduced me to Jack that this deal was going to come together, because I felt like Jack was like a father figure, and he's so brilliant about breeding and about how to create this genetic phenomena that's Highbrow Cat. And I always like to have a mentor in any industry that I go into, and I really gravitate towards older, wiser men. And Jack and I just hit it off immediately. And so Jack helped me out to understand why Highbrow Cat's so good, why his percentages are so high. And I don't know, it's just weird. When me and Jason and Chad met up the first time and started talking about doing this deal, I just felt like it's going to happen. It's meant to be. And so it's been a blessing for Jack to be a part of our lives, and I really want to take this legacy and carry it on with him, with Jason, with Chad, with Milt. Milt has been amazing. He's not here today, he's sick. But Milt has really shed a lot of light on how to manage this process, what's the value in the portfolio of horses that we've got, how to monetize the existing things that we aren't going to go forward with, and then also just how to think about this business. I don't know anything about the breeding business. I don't know anything about horses that much yet, but I'm planning to learn, and I'm so excited to have such a great team. And Lou and Chad have been invaluable about kind of coaching me on what we do going forward and how to manage it. So we're really excited, and we want to continue to use. Paul Hansen has been a great mentor to me and an amazing friend, and I want to continue to use him to train some of our Hybrow Cat horses. The main reason that we did this deal was to have better access to better genetics and better show horses. Our goal is to show and to win in the cutting pen and to utilize the best trainers that we can that fit the horses. Jason will be heading up the training program, but we'll still continue to work with Paul and Grant Setnick and some of the other trainers that we've done with in the past. So,
Jack, you want to say a few words about, I know you've had,
Who wouldn't want to own Hybrow Cat all these years, and
what, I guess, kind of one about just sort of what led up to, why why the right person finally came along to kind of, that you trusted to take over.
Sure. Thank you both for your kind words. You are right in the fact that I'm old. I think that has a lot to do with it. As a lot of you did, I played football and I watched sports and athletics, and there was always the fella that stayed on too long. We all got sick of it. I didn't want to be him. And years ago, not many years ago, I thought if I could find someone that could go on with Cat, go on with these mares and do what we started and just make it better. And you'd think of this fella and that fella. Jason came along and said, I know a fella, and I'd met Darren and I knew Darren, and he talked about Darren, and Darren's young, he's energetic, he's been successful, everything he's done, and he's very enthused about Hybrow Cat. And I thought, here I found the perfect fellow. And from all the discussions we had, I think we started back in September, all the discussions we have, you tell him one thing about it today and tomorrow he'll repeat it back. He learns as quick as anyone I've ever met. He's interested in going forward. He's interested in learning as much as he can, and he brings new ideas. And I think rather than just let a horse like Cat die, we've got enough frozen semen, we've got enough of his kids at home that he can go on for years, and it takes someone like Darren to do that, and I'm really enthused about Darren doing it, and I know I'll probably interfere to the point where they'll say, would you get your nose out of this? But I'll be glad to help any way I can for as long as I can.
Jason, you want to say a few things about, I guess, why, how you put this particular marriage together, and kind of what your, what some of your driving motives were in trying to, Darren talked about the, they want to show, they want to win, they want to ride these great horses and have access to these superior genetics. So maybe a few things about why Cat, why Darren, and what your role is.
Yeah, I'm obviously very excited about this whole deal. Finally, like Jack said, we started months ago working on this, and it's actually world class. Like we all know, Hybrow Cat. I mean, his stats compared to anything is not even comparable, And Darren and I have been friends for a long time. I rode for Jack for about 10 years, and we just all had some good relationships. And just like Jack was saying, he kind of wanted to go out when he's on top, and hand this off to somebody that's going to go on with it. And it's just something that I'm very excited about. And obviously, riding Hybrow Cats, I mean, we had 5 of them in the last maturity. One of them got hurt, and the other 4 were first, second, third, and fourth. So, and Ronnie's horse was out of a Cat mare, and so that's pretty impressive. It's just been one thing after another, and he just never ceases to amaze me. So to get a chance to ride some of those and be involved with these guys is something that I'm really looking forward to. McDavid's are world-class people, and I'm still going to be involved with them, and they're really excited about this for me, and be able to work with Chad and Lou, and Jack's going to be involved, and Milt. I think we got a good team of guys, and just something we're excited about.
Lou, you want to say a few words about what your thought process has been throughout this whole endeavor?
I'd be pleased to, and I consider it successful in a meeting such as this if the lawyer says very little. I moved my practice to Fort Worth about 20 years ago to be at the heart of the cutting horse world, and that has afforded me the opportunity to meet a large number of spectacular people. And all of the people here at this table I've met through that experience. My role is to bring a legal background and to help assure that this program goes forward on a solid basis, honors its commitments, and promotes the stallion to his maximum potential. And not that that hasn't been done, but we want to continue that program going forward.
I'll just be real brief, but again, Darren and I have been good friends for a good while. Actually, Jason introduced the two of us, gosh, probably 10 years ago, and he's been a real instrumental figure in my business career as far as he's really helped me formulate a lot of the thoughts that we've been successful with. Has introduced me to some great people, and along the way become a real good friend as well. And Jason's one of those guys that I look around and there's a lot of great trainers that have helped me in the sport, and I'm just a non-professional and kind of try to run my own breeding operation. But Jason's one of those guys that the easy answer with people that help you is to say, hey, you're doing good, don't change a thing, don't change it. That's the easy kind of the cop out. Where Jason, he's always been, well, actually you're doing this, this, and this, and we need to, just not to be, not being mean-spirited about it, but just being real. One of those guys that will actually tell you exactly how it is, and no matter if you just won a big cutting or you had a great year or whatever, you know what, you'd have done this, this, and this, you maybe could have done a little better. So he's one of those guys that he's probably helped me as much as anybody in the sport, if not more, and so I'm proud to be involved with him. Jack, of course, we've actually I own a ranch across the street from him, so we kid each other for the last 5 or 6 years, I guess, about trying to keep up the neighborhood a little bit out there. But it's funny. I look back in time, and the most successful horses I've had in the sport. I look back and they've been high-brow cats. Some of the best mares that I've shown, some of the best geldings I've shown. I look now, some of the best horses I show now, they're out of cat mares that I showed. And so it's the high-brow cat, in our Crown Ranch program, the high-brow cat legacy has been very, very involved and very instrumental. So I appreciate Jack for just getting it through my hard head all those years ago that I needed to be riding cats, and it's paid off for me, certainly. And Lou, of course, as I said, he's just one of those good guys in life that has a unique way to facilitate things like this and make them come together. So that's some of the other folks that aren't here today. Dr. Justin Rithaller at Weatherford Equine. He has actually taken care of Cat for 10 years, Jack. He's a great guy. Again, a personal friend of ours, in addition to being a good professional, just, again, a super good guy. It doesn't matter if it's, 11 o'clock at night and you have a question, or 4 o'clock in the morning, he's there, he's on the team, going to continue to take care of Cat and manage that process. He's been there, kind of through the twilight of Cat's career, so that's going to absolutely stay the same. Milt Bradford, who's not here, actually has come down with the flu this week, the last couple of days, and part of that's probably he's been one of the main quarterbacks to this whole process of making it happen. So part of that's probably as a result of us wearing him out and stress and everything else. But he, again, one of those guys that just he's been in the sale business for a long, long time. Has been an owner, a breeder. His wife, with her background as a competitor, and just good people. And he's been really good, a good resource to Darren, and helping him frame some of the issues and think about it from a marketing and sales perspective. So I think with that, Cam Essick here in the audience. She's going to help Darren with a lot of the advertising going forward, and she's one of those people that, you know, my wife was in the advertising business forever and ever, and when this process first started, you know, I asked her, I said, you know, Darren had said, well, let's get your wife to do it. I said, well, you know, let me check with her. And first thing she said when I asked her is, well, get Cam to do it. Cam's the best. And so, boom, we make a phone call, and Cam's been involved. And so her and Katie Timms have helped put this together here today. So we're, with that, maybe we'll, Cam, Katie, if it's all right, you guys take some questions to Jack and Darren, and you guys can ask us anything you like.
And I wanted to say one thing. Those pictures that you're looking at behind this team here, those pictures were taken yesterday. And that's a 25-year-old stallion. And I can tell you, having been there, you couldn't have told the difference between him and a 10-year-old. I mean, he was out there just playing. And I just wanted to be sure that you all knew that those pictures were taken yesterday.
Good question.
Yeah, there were some rumors going around that possibly the horse was going to not stand to the public anymore, and that there wasn't going to be access to any semen. What's the plan as far as going forward and breeding him?
Darren, you want to address that, or do you want me to?
Let you state it, and then I'll follow up.
I think it's kind of a moving target a little bit. Again, this is Darren's first venture into being a stallion owner, period, but certainly his first foray into owning what I would consider the greatest stallion in our cutting horse sport. So a lot of things kind of subject to change, but the plan going forward initially is we'll absolutely honor all rebreeds, absolutely honor everyone that Jack dealt with last year, this year, that have agreed and already arranged to breed their mares. No problems, no questions. I mean, not going to change any rules, change anything. Going forward, for people who haven't booked already and that Jack hasn't already confirmed relationships with, Darren is actually going to breed a handful of really, really good select mares. So instead of maybe breeding every mare that comes along, because of course everyone, I think we all as breeders, as participants, we all want to ride highbrow cats, but maybe try to be a bit more selective about only allowing the very best mares to breed to him, and the most proven crosses, the most proven producers. So we'll absolutely continue to accept those bookings coming forward. So not going to take it private, not going to, I think a big part of it, they want to, as he and Jason alluded to, they want to breed their best mares to him. They want to also obtain some embryos to some of the best mares out there. And then also, as part of this package, Jack has some absolutely phenomenal mares that Darren now owns that he will continue to breed to cat. And then again, for the cutting horse public, those great mares, absolutely, we all hope that they will absolutely continue to breed to cat.
And we're going to basically do it through ICSI.
That's one thing too that I'm sure it'll come up as a question, and I wish Justin could be here today, but he had a previous commitment with his daughter at Take Your Father to School Day. But the whole ICSI procedure is I think it's revolutionary. It's something that a few years ago it was sort of gosh, we heard rumors of it and we heard stories of it, and it was something that sounded a little bit far-fetched, but it actually in recent years I've had some experience with some of my mares using that procedure, and now that I have done it and I've experienced it and I see it's actually pretty revolutionary. I think it's going to actually be sort of the way of the future, certainly when it comes to highbrow calf, but I think a lot of our gray stallions, that's something that's going to be, we have this, we're talking a year from now, and I think it'll be, it'll be the top of everyone's tongue. They'll know exactly what we're talking about, and that's going to be with Justin's help and with some of the great universities, Colorado State, Texas A&M, that we've consulted with through this process. It's going to be just the way that we breed mares in the future.
Well, it's a sure way, and it's a sure way, especially for older mares. An older mare, it's kind of potluck when you breed them. An older mare, you're looking at the egg itself. The price is dropping all the time on this until it's getting to be really fairly reasonable. And if you've got a really great mare, I'd rather know for sure we got her bred, and this is the way to do it. It's like everything new in the breeding industry, well, everything new in almost any industry, is everything's looked at a little askew, and is that true, and is that sure, but this is a sure way, and it really works. It's a lot of things that I think Darren's going to do that really help the industry, and that's one of them. I really believe that that's a good way to go.
What is the price now?
The price will actually not change at all this year. The stud fee continues to be as it's been for the last, 4 or 5 years probably.
But for the ICSI, if you were going to reach in there.
Well, the ICSI,
The price is the exact same as it's always been for everything, $22,500.
Oh, I see, that includes that.
no.
That
No,
is
ma'am, it
the
doesn't.
breeding fee.
She's asking about the ICSI fee.
If you
The
buy a
ICSI fee is different. There's a school or facility in Missouri, there's a facility at Texas A&M, there's a facility at CSU, there's a facility on the West Coast, I believe it's in Oregon. We just are sending them a star right now, and there's a facility in Maryland. And they're all fairly close right now. They're in about the $6,000 to $7,000 range.
Including recipient merit.
Yes, yes. So you really don't have that much of a charge when you figure your recipient merit is always $3,000 anyway. And for almost all these old mares, you're going to use a recipient. I learned by losing 2 really super mares to use recipients for everything. So almost all the babies that Darren bought that are coming are all in recipient mares anyway. So, you know, if you really get down to it, you can make a case why it's so expensive, but it's not. It's sure. If you're dealing with a good mare and a great horse, it's really the way to go, and it doesn't cost that much more. If Cat's stud fee was $40,000 and included it, they'd still pay it. I mean, I would pay it. All of us would pay it. If you can afford it, to be in the business, you can afford it. So it isn't that much.
So what did you say the stud fee was?
$22,500 for the remainder of 2013. The procedure that Jack's talking about as well, that entire procedure can be done right there at Justin Rithaller's facility too. Again, 5 years ago, to do something like this, you may have had to send your mare off to Colorado State or to one of the veterinary hospitals, but it actually, through the improvements in technology, all of this can be done right here in Weatherford, Texas, by the same vet that's handled cat forever and ever, as far as harvesting those eggs. And it's, he would then work with some of these different veterinary hospitals to make the procedure complete, but it actually is a pretty safe, secure, reliable method that a lot of folks have been using with great success for a lot of years. And Jack alluded to some of the costs associated with it. They've come down so dramatically in recent years, and all the vets we talk to expect that to continue. So again, at some point in time, I don't know that it'll cost any more money than traditional embryo transfer.
The big question on everybody's mind now is how much semen is available?
That's the mystery.
That's a good question, and that's again something that there's a lot of rebreeds to be tended to. There's a lot of different obligations that Jack and Darren have that they're working through to again, that's something that hopefully there's enough for Darren to achieve the objectives that he set out for owning the stallion and breeding them, and hopefully there's enough left that some of these great proven mares can continue to breed for years to come. But it's he's as we see back there, he is a 25-year-old horse, so it's those folks who do want to breed those great mares to highbrow cat, it's not something that is going to be available indefinitely, and it's something again, not speaking for Darren or anyone here, but just as a participant and as a breeder, I would think that those great mares, these next few years are going to be crucial to try to get those great mares in full.
And I would just add to that the ICSI procedure extends the use of the semen that is available and what we believe will be a higher conception rate from the use of that procedure will also make more breedings viable.
What is the difference in an ICSI? What's the procedure and why does it cost so much more?
In breeding with live semen, you take a collection and you split it up and you put so much in each mare that you have. In breeding with normal frozen semen, they have a standard of using 8 straws. A straw is about this long. On Cat, it only took 4 straws usually because he was very, very potent as a young horse. In ICSI, and those straws were thawed as they were put in the mare. So the semen acted just like live semen. On an ICSI dose, it's a small little straw about this big. And the operator, manipulator, they're called several different things, but the people that do it, will shave a small portion of that straw. They'll thaw that, and the strongest sperm in there they'll pick up. They'll drill a hole in the egg that they've already collected from the mare, and they'll interject the sperm. They actually see the conception right there. We've all heard of the in vitro where they put an egg in a dish and let the sperm swim after them. That isn't what this is. This is directly injected into the egg. They see the conception, they actually watch the conception of that egg, so they know, yeah, it conceived, or no, it didn't. Put another one in, if it didn't. They take that egg, put it in the incubator, and hold that egg for about 8 days. It varies 7 to 9 days. And then they put it in a recipient mare. So they know the whole time they've got a viable embryo. Now that mare, for some reason, may reject it, but that's the only chance you have of losing it. But you have that if you use live semen and you breed it, you flush the egg and put it in a recipient mare, you have the same thing. There's no difference in the mare holding it from any kind of semen. Once that conception is done, the stallion's done everything he can do. There's nothing in there from that stallion that would prevent that embryo going to term. There could be something in the recip mare, the egg could be flawed or something, all the things that we know of could happen, but normally this is a surer way of knowing that you have a baby coming.
To further answer your question, Lorianne, so it is a few $1,000s more expensive, absolutely, and again, that price is going down all the time, but the trade-off is that I think we get a much higher, much higher efficiency rate of both, not only from the stallion and from Darren's perspective, is conserving the semen that is left, but for those great mares and making the most use of those eggs for breeding purposes. So I think the efficiencies are going to be felt both for the stallion owner and for the mare owner as well. And again, the less time a mare can spend at the breeding farm, the lower your expenses are. The less time the quicker we can get a mare to conceive, again, the less the expenses are. So while the process itself might cost a few $1,000s more, if we look at it, sort of big picture over the increased efficiencies, I think we could argue, not even argue, but it's fairly factual that it's not much more expensive at all, if any.
Well, we had a mare that, my best brood mare, she was in the breeding farm for 3 months trying to get an egg, and so we were going to try to breed her to 3 different studs, and because she was there so long that they couldn't get her in foal, it basically took our whole year's breeding and flushed it down to 2 because we could only get one baby out of it. And so this, we think, will help the really good mares breed to multiple studs and maybe breed twice us.
Jack or Darren, could you give us an overview of exactly what the transaction is as far as it's the horse, the semen, the clone, mares, real estate? What's the whole package?
Pretty much everything. And the clone is not born It's in full. We don't know if that'll come to fruition. It's we call it kind of gravy if it does, and it'll be 3 years, 4 years before we know what it's like. So it was basically all of the above: the ranch, the horses, trucks, about 25 hybrid cat babies, either weanlings or yearlings, and then a bunch of them to come this year.
What's the price tag on that?
We didn't say.
Wall Street Journal did.
They didn't say. They
10
said.
million.
They said. They didn't say an exact number. We did. They guessed.
Oh, really? So Jack, are you going to live in a cottage on the beach?
It doesn't even, is
Yeah.
No, I haven't made any plans about where to go or when to go.
You're not going to kick him out?
No, he can stay.
Guys, from the AQHA standpoint, a registration standpoint, say cat is deceased in 2 years. What are we looking at then from a registration aspect as far as the foals go?
First of all, let me answer that. I hope I go before you.
I hope both of you stay around a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Graham, I can address that. AQHA rules currently allow breeding of a deceased stallion through frozen semen, just as you can freeze an embryo from a mare and breed and register the foals after the mare dies. So cat's longevity does not have any effect whatsoever on registration.
Luke, does the owner of the stallion have own the, I mean, does he have to still own them? Could somebody else own the stallion and somebody else own the semen?
The general rule is the stallion owner owns the semen. There are permits which the AQHA will issue on request, and a person other than the stallion owner can obtain a permit to use semen for breeding, and that permit permits also the obtaining of the breeder certificate and registration.
So the stallion owner would probably have to say that they could issue those permits.
Typically, those are transactions, but the stallion owner owns, he who owns the stallion or she who owns the stallion owns the semen.
The stallion's deceased, the last one to own him before he died, owns the semen. However, that semen can be transferred after the stallion's gone.
By private,
No, through the
to
AQHA.
the AQHA, okay.
Darren, with Colt Ventures, do you have any other horse people who are major shareholders in that, or are you?
No, it's only mine. It's a family office, so we basically, it's all just private. No outside investors in Colt Ventures. My kids.
Guys, we know how successful Highbrow Cat's been in the cutting arena and in our industry, and has had also some success in some of the others. Is there going to be a concerted effort to spread him out over some of the other industries, focus a little more on reining, a little more on working cow horse?
I think so. I mean, one of the areas that we want to get him involved in, and I talked to a calf roper, and then we've talked. Ed Wright works with my daughter, the barrel horse guy, and he's a leader in barrel racing. I would love to see a highbrow cat and barrel racing, highbrow cats and reining, cutting, roping, team roping. We've got a team rope. I've got a heel horse that's a highbrow cat. I bought it from Jonathan Rogers. It's a turnback horse, and I thought I paid too much, but he's turned out to be my best heel horse. So yeah, we'd love to have it across everything. Jason ropes, I rope. So we want to spread the genetics across every part of the industry.
One thing too, so Jason is actually going to head up the training program for Darren, similar to what he's done in years past. But so in his new role with Darren, he will actually train Darren's horses, continue to hopefully train horses for people he's had in the past. Talked about the McDavids here in town that are special friends of his, and that relationship. Continues to ride for them, but he also is for the first time in quite a few years going to be riding some horses for the public again. hopefully High Rock Cats, but probably, he's like any great trainer, they want to ride the best horses, so that's something too with, kind of part of this is he's actually going to be able to ride a few select horses for the public again, so that's kind of an interesting dynamic that's part of this whole venture.
Where's Jason going to be based out of?
Not 100% sure on any of that yet. Again, this is all this kind of has come together, and there's a lot of moving parts, so not 100% sure, but we'll be right here in the Weatherford, Texas area for sure.
And the Boonsville property stays a breeding place?
Pardon?
Will the Jack's place, will it keep being the breeding place?
For the time being, we'll do it all through Justin
yeah.
Ridholler at Weatherford Equine.
Darren, again, not to speak for him, but Darren's got a couple of different facilities, ranching facilities. His main ranch, where they'll raise a lot of the young horses, is in Glenrose, in the Glenrose area there, where he and his family spend a huge amount of time. And then he's also has some other facilities in the Weatherford area. So I think the plan is at some point in time that the Jack's operation is it's a beautiful place. It's geared for a big operation. Lots of stalls, lots of mares, lots of stallions, and so at some point in time, probably this year even, Darren will probably look to let someone else own that place. So sell that place, let someone else that the place is maybe better suited, because again, he's not going to probably keep hundreds and hundreds of horses, but he's already got some facilities. So the original Jack Wagner's original ranch will actually probably be marketed for sale in the very near future.
Can each one, or maybe not each one of you, but a couple of you, maybe tell us what it is? And I know Jack's talked on it extensively at different times, but just briefly, tell us what it is about Highbrow Cat that's made him so special over the years, that's made him dominate the industry. What is it about that horse that's unique?
One thing I really notice about him is it seems like everybody gets along with him. You can see guys from the East Coast, West Coast, and trainers that are, average to some of the best guys, and it just seems like they cut for everybody. And that's one thing that's very unique, and you don't see that with a lot of horses. And I've actually haven't had a chance to really ride very many of them, so I'm pretty excited about that. But it just seems like everywhere you look, at the area work-offs and these big youth cuttings, people are riding cats, and when you look at the stats, and since we've been working on this, I've had a chance to really do that. Me and Chad have, and sit down with the numbers, and it's just really, when you compare it to the other numbers, it just blows you away, so that's pretty interesting for us.
What's it feel like to own him, Darren?
It feels good. It's been kind of a crazy last few months. We sold our oil companies and didn't buy this. I haven't really had time to digest it. But one of my 3-year-olds, now 4-year-olds, the one I showed in the futurity, he's a Highbrow Cat, and Paul trained him, and he's out of one of my mares. And he's really cowy, but he's really smart, and he's just feels solid. And so I can't wait to keep showing him. And it was weird that we had that horse kind of come at the same time. We didn't plan it that way. So I just think that they're just really smart, and they're easy to get along with, and they're very well conformed too. They're good athletes.
So you've divested most of your other interests?
No, I just sold the biggest pains in my butt.
Okay.
2 oil companies. So it was kind of selling those and buying this. It was a lot of work. So now we're going to kind of try to take a breather.
But this looks like a forward-looking investment.
Yeah, I'd rather be doing business that makes money and that's beneficial to people in a sport with a bunch of people that I like than in some business where it's kind of, foreign entities that I'm not as close to. So I figured I'd rather make money doing cutting than just spend money. So business mixed with pleasure.
I think to your question too, Craig, you look back at Highbrow Cat, you know as much about Highbrow Cats and being a futurity champion on one yourself. You look back in history, you look at it, and I didn't even realize this until working with Katie and Cam on the press release they prepared for you all today, but what is the stat? 7 of the last 9 or 6 of the last 8 Open Futurity champions have been highbrow cats. So 7. So seven of the past 9. Maybe starting with you, Craig.
Yeah.
So again, we all think, well, highbrow cat, boy, he's great, he's wonderful, everybody wants one, but you don't. I mean, like, it's easy just and again, I'm pretty involved with this horse world, and I didn't even realize that oh my gosh, 7 out of 9 Open Futurity champions have been highbrow cats. That's it's pretty remarkable. And again, that really we probably don't even have to have a press conference today. Probably highbrow cat sells. 7 out of 9 Open Futurity of the last 9 Open Futurity champions have been highbrow cat. End of story. It's amazing.
Yeah.
If you take the money that his get have earned, I think it's 58 million now and going up. He's the number 2 quarter horse of all time. He will catch the number 1 quarter horse, which is First Down Cash, probably the end of next year. And he'll just keep growing. I'm sure with Darren doing what he's doing, he's growing at about a little over $5 million a year. Getting back to what you're talking about, why they're special. Every cat that I've been around or seen or talked to, anyone, yourself included, wants to be trained. They want a job. They want to do something. And they'll cooperate whatever you're trying to do. If they take you into roping and all these other things, you just show me what you want me to do, boss, and I'll try to do it. There are some that don't, just like everything else, but I don't run into one. They're very, very trainable. They're very smart. They're very compatible. Most of them are people's pets because they don't know what it is you want them to do, so they just try to help you whatever you're doing.
Jack, what's been the high point for you owning him?
Darren.
Good answer.
Dumb money.
No, not dumb money.
Jack, also, just so everybody understands what it really took to get to a highbrow cat, I know, and a lot of other people in here know, but tell us how many stallions you actually went through over the years with your breeding program before you developed a highbrow cat breeding program.
Cat was actually the 7th stallion I had. I tried, and we would breed them and look at them, and if I didn't like them, I didn't want to expect anybody else to like them. And some of them were good. Some of them still stand at public stud. They were good horses. They weren't great horses, or they were good horses, and there was one great one and some bad ones and some good ones. And I felt that a horse had to be conformationally right. They had to produce sound horses. They had to be this, that, and the other thing, and their horses had to be good. And his babies were. The first ones we looked at were good. The first ones that became 3 years old, there was 7 born. 6 of those went on, 1 died. And 2 of them made the fraternity finals. Bill Freeman showed the first ones, and he had all the smart little Lenas in the world there, and I'm not knocking smart little Lena, but the ones he rode were correct cats. And we thought he was good. Conformationally, to me, that's what a cutting horse should be built like. If you look at him at 25, he's still sound everywhere. First time he was ever injected, he was 6 years old. And he was injected because we'd never injected him. We thought it was time we did it. A horse that's shown, we put them through such rigors today that the really good ones hurt themselves. They just hurt themselves because of what we asked them to do. Well, half of that soundness comes from the mare, half comes from the stallion. We say half, it isn't actually half, but he contributes to a sound horse, and like every others, there's some that aren't sound, but they've been hurt by this, that, or the other thing. But on the whole, they've been very, very sound horses. They've been sound mentally. I haven't found a trainer, and maybe there are, that's been able to blow one up as a 3-year-old, and there are a lot of other horses we blow up. I personally have trained several different brands, and the cats ruined me. I thought for a while I was a trainer. I'm not. They made me think I might have been. Cat's been accused of ruining a lot of training because we have a lot of trainers that really couldn't train anything with a cat. That's just the things you hear about his trainability.
Darren, with a potential clone in this deal, how closely are you following the AQHA lawsuit regarding cloning, and do you think that decision will have an impact on the future of your business?
To be honest with you, I didn't really take much interest in the clone when I was doing the deal. The goal was to get the existing highbrow cat babies and to buy the semen and the stud and the egg straws. And my main purpose was to have good horses to show and to train and to provide breeding to really good mares. So I haven't paid much attention to it. Lou has mentioned a few things, but you know, I really don't know.
The clone's kind of been a bonus. You know, we've got so much other stuff to kind of sort through right now that it's just something that we're really looking forward. Darren said earlier, 3 or 4 years down the road, you know, we've got enough stuff to go through and enough highbrow cats, and I'm sure legally Lou knows all the right answers for that. But we're just kind of focused on highbrow cat right now.
And the short answer as to the lawsuit is there is so much in the current program without the clone that there's really no reason for Darren and the team to focus on that lawsuit, and we have not done so as it would affect the highbrow cat breeding program. We're confident the parties, the AQHA and the people dealing with that will work out something, but it doesn't have any immediate effect or medium-term effect on this program whatsoever. The whole program is based on what is here and not on the clone.
Obviously, cats the focus here. What's the plan for Smart Aristocrat?
We were just talking about that. He is very productive and has really good statistics. And we're going to try to promote him and try to breed him. And we're going to breed him to some of our good mares and Jason and some of our other guys that are going to train for us. Maybe we'll get them to train some and see if we can bring him in and bring him back and really create some great ones.
Yeah, we sure like to have some for brood mares as far as crossing back on cat and stuff. You know, it'd be nice to. Jack's got a few that we've bought that they're really good producers and that he's sold and for a lot of money. And so, you know, breeding purposes and show horses are something that we want to add into our deal.
It's a big ranch that has bred 4 or 5 of their mares every year to the Aristocrat. They have produced a lot of brood mares that they're using now to their studs by Aristocrat. Aristocrat's had several sons and daughters that have earned quite a bit too. His percentages are almost as high as Cat's as far as number of babies on the ground and number of babies that have produced money.
Jack, did you make sure you got visitation rights?
Oh yeah. Listen, Cat can't do without me. How if I don't come see him?
What are you going to do with your life? I mean, this has been your life, everything. From stats to...
I'm old enough, I'll figure out something.
Jeff, can you pass back and recall how much you paid for highbrow cat?
Yes, I can.
Would you know that?
No.
Billions.
Darren, on that note, what do you consider, what makes this a successful venture for you? What's the end game?
Well, I don't want to go to cuttings and be a alien. I want to go there and make the sport better. I want to go there and be promoter of the stud, the sport. I want to do the right thing to people, treat people better than I would have them treat me. And so what would make it successful to me is if I can take it to the next level. Jason and I and all the people we're involved with can really enhance the viability of the sport and breeding and try to figure out some ways to optimize semen and use less to get more and make it more safe for the mare owners and the mares. So we've done a lot of stuff in biotechnology and been pretty innovative in human fertility to through a company called Halozyme Therapeutics that used human recombinant enzymes to basically enhance the fertility process for couples that couldn't get pregnant. And so we think we can use some of those same scientists and thought processes to optimize the semen and give something to the industry that maybe someone else might not have done.
How long have you been involved in this?
Well, I kind of started degunseling in 2006. So Jason got a hold of me in 2005 and started teaching me how to ride. But before that, I wouldn't classify being involved. I was just kind of trying to stay on.
And how did you get involved? Did you ride before?
I got involved from when I was a kid. I went to a friend of mine's ranch in South Texas, and I was from a rich family or from really any money, but I told myself if I ever make any money, I'm going to buy a horse and then I'm going to buy a ranch. And so I bought my first horse, the first commission check I ever got in real estate, in like 1986. I went and bought a horse. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I'm not saying I do now, but I really didn't know.
So you didn't really even see cutting or know anything about it until that whole time?
I met this guy in a breakfast restaurant who saw me wearing a hat and stuff, and he introduced me to cutting. That was in a breakfast restaurant. Not a bar. And his name was Dr. Elvin Blackwell.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he was like, "Hey, young fella, you want to ride?"
What year was that?
That was in '89 or something. And so I went out there, and he had a ranch in East Texas. He owned Doc Wilson.
Yeah.
And I went out there, and he let me ride his horses. And he let me practice and try. He had an old trainer out there. And I eventually hired him, David Kerr. And so basically that was kind of how I got started. And then kind of evolved through Chubby. Chubby really helped me kind of step up to the next level. And then I met Jason, and Jason kind of beat the guns out of me. I still have a lot of it.
Let me tell you, no, he doesn't.
Darren's actually, again, he won't brag on himself, but he's actually made the NCHA non-pro fraternity finals last year. He won, maybe the toughest event of the entire year, the Brazos Bash. So again, again, I can brag. He won't brag on himself, but I can brag on him. He's pretty successful at the showing end, and surrounded himself with great people like Jason, like Paul Hansma, Grant Setnica. Made the fraternity finals on the horse he is a few years ago as well. So he's like he is in all of his business ventures. He's pretty shrewd. So don't let him fool any of you.
What number roper are you?
I'm a 4-header. All right. Thank y'all very much.
Appreciate everyone
y'all
coming
coming
today. And if you guys in the press, in the packets that Cam and Katie have, if you have further questions, absolutely sure direct them to either of them, Darren as well. So we're happy to answer anything and everything.
Thank y'all very much.